Week in our country with gun violence coming to the forefront, and another week of people saying something has to change. There was a rally at the Capitol today that was planned before what happened this week at Michigan State, but it brought all of that back into focus. Moms Demand Action Against Gun Violence marked 10 years of organizing and lobbying for gun law reforms in our state. And now, a decade later, they say they finally believe that they will help move a couple of bills across the finish line. So why now? What's changed? And what could we expect if they're correct? Kent's here to talk about it. Hey, Kent.
Hey, John, let's start with what we might be able to expect with the two big bills that look like they could have the votes this time. The first would require universal background checks for all gun purchases, not just for those from licensed dealers. The other would create a so-called red flag law, allowing for extreme risk protection orders, which 19 states already have on the books. Now, there are opponents, of course, like the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, who argue that the background checks will only inconvenience law-abiding gun owners and that red flag laws lead to concerns over due process. But Moms Demand Action says the majority of the public is on their side on this, and this time the political majority is too.
I am not hopeful, but expectant. I expect that this is the year that we finally enact life-saving, common-sense gun violence prevention measures in Minnesota.
Volunteers with Moms Demand Action spoke with confidence at the Capitol today, knowing they now have the votes to pass the gun control bills they've spent a decade supporting.
I'm going to take it one step further. We're not hoping, we're demanding. We are demanding that these life-saving laws get passed.
Shannon Watts started Moms Demand Action the day after the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in 2012. The mother of 5 says it started with a Facebook group from her home in Indianapolis, and it now has chapters in every single state.
I wouldn't wake up and do this work every day if we weren't winning. I mean, there has been a seismic shift in American politics on this issue. You know, back when I started, about a quarter of all Democrats in Congress actually had an A rating from the NRA. Today, none do. And in fact, 15 Republicans voted for the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that passed this summer, first federal legislation on gun safety in a generation.
And if Minnesota soon follows suit, she says it will be thanks to a decade of organizing that's resulted in several Moms and Students Demand Action volunteers who have now been elected themselves and could soon cast the pivotal vote.
If we can't do this now in a trifecta, we will never be able to do this.
A generation has grown up now with the reality of mass shootings and seeing this playing out. How have you seen that change this movement?
You know, I think we are going to see an entire generation of Americans who are really angry and who feel that their older generations, their parents, their grandparents, really let them down by allowing the gun lobby essentially to write our nation's gun laws.
I'm a mom now. I'm real pissed.
We are acting like these are acts of nature when they are man-made acts of cowardice. The reason that our children are getting shot at in their schools, in their streets, the reason that they have to do these lockdown drills in the first place is because we are allowing dangerous people to have easy access to guns. We can stop that. Our lawmakers have the power not to eradicate the Second Amendment or take away people's guns, but simply to restore the responsibilities that should go along with gun rights. And that's something the vast majority of Americans, including Republicans and gun owners, agree on.
We've been emailing.
Now, in regards to that last statement, it is true that public polling here in Minnesota shows that people from both parties do support universal background checks. Between 75 and 90% of people have favored them in recent polls. But while red flag laws are also favored overall by about 60% of voters, that's driven by 93% support from Democrats compared to just 38% of Republicans. So, Jana, that one's not exactly considered bipartisan in that way.
Yeah, not cut and dried there. But that first one, and that's basically what you talked about, right? They think they have something, these groups that want them, Democrats and the Moms Demand Action group, that they want universal background checks. That's kind of the first on what they want this year?
That's the first one. And the red flag laws will be something that we'll continue to hear about here at the legislature. And to be frank, again, it's a DFL trifecta right now. So they could have the votes for that as well.
All right. Thanks so much, Kent. We appreciate it.